My husband is, well, he's required to speak publicly.
I have received...
Perhaps he should change jobs.
And what of my husband with a king? My husband has seen everyone.
Insert them into your mouth. Enunciate.
He hasn't seen me. I can cure your husband, but I need total trust. What was your earliest memory?
I'm not here to discuss personal matters.
Well, why are you here then?
Because I bloody well stammer.
Do you know any jokes?
Timing isn't my strong suit.
Your methods were unorthodox and controversial.
Up comes your Royal Highness.
It's actually quite good fun.
I Have a Dream. This movie was bullshit because I went to it and Martin Luther King did not show up to deliver his speech at all. I was like, what is this? A bunch of old British ass people?
Not that king, all the other kings, who, as you may know, are usually white.
He has the point.
Just saying, man. You put king and speech together.
No. Statistically speaking, it was going to be white people.
Yeah, and I'm glad it wasn't that king, because if it was, that speech would have been like, I have a... God damn it! Dream.
What would the film be about Martin Luther King and his speech therapist? I can't dream. It's like, hey, you bring Eddie Murphy out of retirement for that one. No, man, you gotta say the words like this.
Yeah, that probably was Martin Luther King's speech impediment. It's like, he always talk like this. I'll have a large grande latte. Man, why are you talking so loud?
Wow.
And that could be before he talked like this. But somebody who would probably be played by Martin Lawrence or Eddie Murphy would be the one who teach him to speak like this. And that would be the thing that made him who he was.
Yes, but this is about old white men who are, generally speaking, probably not as interesting or funny as this movie made them appear.
It's funny. I went into this not knowing anything, clearly knowing nothing about it.
Yeah, I hadn't either, man. I heard about this movie being talked about for a while. And so I was like, okay, this is definitely one of the movies I want to see. But this old King George the 5th, 8th, 6th, and 7th. I don't know about those motherfuckers, man.
I can't keep track of that.
All I needed to hear was that Colin Firth was in it, and I would have known. Okay, it's a British period movie.
Exactly.
That's all he does. Yeah, Colin Firth probably has no modern clothing in his closet at all.
Yeah,
and you know, I mean, Jeffrey Rush, who's one of the great actors today, and the cast of Harry Potter films.
That is true. Shit, if this ain't his Purple Badness or Prince Henry in a can or whatever it is, I don't know nothing about it.
Prince Albert in a can.
Albert.
I told you, I don't know nothing about it. See, I don't even know that motherfucker there. So this right here, but no, this
royalty, not your specialty.
Not
but
my
you do
specialty
like
at all.
purple, I've noticed.
I do.
He's got a lot of Prince albums.
Okay,
exactly. Little Red Corvette and Purple Rain, all that stuff. Now that's the royalty I can tell you about. I can tell you about Michael Jackson and the Jackson family, all that kind of shit.
King of Pop,
Prince, King of Pop,
King of Pop, all that stuff. But this right here.
What about Elvis?
Fuck Elvis.
Yeah, he was a hero the most,
but he never meant shit to us.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yet, you know, this is a really good period piece, and I do like period pieces for the fact that I do learn something from them, and.
Yeah, fuck a history class. I'm going to the movie.
I didn't go to no school. I just saw movies.
Exactly.
And now I got my own website.
Yeah, teacher, we got popcorn.
I ain't from National Treasure. There's a city of gold inside of Mount Rushmore. Bet you didn't know that.
Exactly. No, this is, as Cyrus says, this is about some old-ass British people. And I think this, now this is in the period of, 1925?
1925 is where this starts.
It starts at 1925 and spans to 1939 when England's about to go to war with Germany. And at this, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. I mean, royalty is like soap opera over there. You have...
Prince George the Fifth is played by the guy who played Dumbledore.
Yeah, Michael Gambon. Yeah.
Thank you. I'll just say who they played in Harry Potter movies, and you fill in the rest.
I think of Michael Gambon is he's not Ian McKellen.
Yes, exactly.
The guy who replaced the dead wizard. But yeah,
he's a king.
But he's like got dementia setting on. He's old, and
they all know he's only got so long.
Yeah, he's only got so long. Then you have Prince Edward, who this dude right here, he's set to be the king. Now, he's up here like getting ready to marry some American from Baltimore.
Who's already married.
Who's already married to two guys, and
and like I don't like to throw this term around, but she's kind of a slut.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, like
Probably.
there's word she's even screwing somebody at the same time. I mean, she's like, obviously, Guy Pearce, who plays this prince, is none too bright.
No, in fact, I would use the words "pussy whipped."
Yeah,
and I always wanted to party like a rock star. I mean, now let me tell you something.
He's a Spencer Pratt of his day.
He's the prince that I would want. He's the king that I would want because royalty doesn't mean shit to him at all. I mean, he's in there drinking, playing whatever the hits were back in the day, partying. I'm sure there was orgies going on in the next room.
That's exact thinking that got us George Bush elected.
Exactly.
I don't want a smart guy. I just want a guy I can go party with.
Corey just knows, it's the one guy he might be able to actually party with. He's like, man, Colin Firth's not going to come take me in his limo and like get a bunch of hookers and everything. But Guy Pearce, shit, we're going to do blow all night off the backs of $1,000 a night horse. It's going to be awesome.
We're sit up here and do cocaine off the queen's ass. You know,
I want a ruler who doesn't make me feel inadequate about myself.
I want a ruler. I want a king that I can have a beer with. that I can have a pint with.
A guy I could race on tic-tac-toe and beat most of the time.
But you know the bad thing about this, like I said, he don't give a shit. He's just partying. He's like, I'm gonna marry who I want to marry. I'm gonna drink what I want to drink. I'm gonna do what I want to do. Meanwhile, Hitler's over there acting a fool, and you got poor old like the Duke of York, played by Colin Firth, who's just like, man, I can't take all this, and this dude's gonna fuck up, and they're gonna kick him out of his royalty, and I'm gonna have to be the one to be king. Now, anybody else would say, like, okay, you seem up to it, you seem responsible, you seem to know where your brother's going
he's
wrong.
More
you want
serious.
To do right.
He wants to do right by the kingdom.
He's everything that you want in a leader, a figurehead of power, except for he can't talk.
He's got the worst stage fright.
Talk worth the shit.
I mean, it's funny because, man, I got to say, I love the opening of this. Everything that led up to the big moment where he has to deliver his speech and how they turned up the sound of just the mic and the crowd.
It's a defining scene of what stage fright is like. I mean, it captures it to a T. I mean, I felt like stammering watching that.
Yeah, and you have to understand that he was not a stutterer, he was a stammerer. And I just thought that all British people did this. But
yeah, I know. You watch enough Hugh Grant movies, you think, oh, that's what they all do.
Hugh Grant, I mean,
just cute.
Yeah, it was lovable. I guess when you're a king, you can't do that. So what happens is you get like air pockets that form in your throat, and you can't, and you just can't get the word, like kind of like what I'm doing right now.
I was gonna say,
and you just can't get the words out. And he's expected to come out and give speeches to thousands of people. Now, opening shot in the movie, he comes out and he looks around, and he's in an arena, in a stadium, and every eye, I mean, that dude way in the back, across the the 50-yard line, is looking over at him, and he can just not get these words out. And look, whether he's going to be king or not, he's going to be a public figure. So
I love how in that scene there's the horse equivalent of the uncomfortable cough. Because it's total quiet and he can't talk, and the horse is like, nay.
That horse was like the equivalent of Leon. He was like, tell some jokes. And then the guy on top of the horse said, or that might have been the horse, just to add insult to injury. Asshole.
It's one thing, you get that big scene where he clearly has stage fright, or he can't talk in front of an audience. He's going to stutter or stammer through that.
Yeah.
But then later on, you realize, like, man, he can't talk to anybody. He can't even tell a story to his kids without tripping.
No, it's not stage fright. It's condition where when you're really concentrating on what you're saying, you can't talk.
Yeah, and it's worse in certain situations. Like there, he can't get a word out. He can talk to his wife and kids, but even so, he's it might take a second.
Yeah. You concentrate to the point where, like I said, your throat gets caught up in everything. And so his wife is just like, I can't take this no more. I'm looking at you. It ain't about you no more. You embarrassing me. All right.
Yeah. I'm taking you to a witch doctor.
Yeah. I'm just going to cut that tongue out right there. No, she takes him to a speech therapist.
Wife played by Helena Bonham Carter.
Yes, and she is Queen Elizabeth in this movie. She just says, look, I'm going to take you to a speech therapist. And the speech therapist in this movie is played by Jeffrey Rush.
My husband has seen everyone, to no avail. Awfully afraid he's given up hope.
Well, we need to have your hubby pop by. He can give me his personal details, I'll make a frank appraisal, and then we'll take it from there.
Doctor, I don't have a hubby. We don't pop, and nor do we ever talk about our private lives. No, you must come to us.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Johnson. My game, my turf, my rules.
And what of my husband with the Duke of York?
I thought the appointment was for Johnson. Forgive me, Your
Royal Highness.
Royal Highness.
Yes, Johnson was used during the Great War, when the Navy didn't want the enemy to know he was aboard.
Am I considered the enemy?
You will be, if you remain unobliging.
And Jeffrey Rush says, look, I don't give a fuck if y'all are royalty or not. When you're working with me, I have methods that require us to be equal. So when you come in here, I'm gonna call you whatever I want to call you. I'm
gonna fuck with you.
Yeah.
And make you mad.
Yeah.
And let you know that we're on the same level.
So I'm going to call you King Dickhead.
But by the end, you're going to be talking like a regular person.
I'm going to call you King Vitamin if I want to, and you'll like it. And so, look, the Queen and King are, at this point, the Duke is, they're expecting a certain sort of demeanor when they're being approached by the common people. And this is unorthodox for them.
Or
They're taken
anyone,
aback.
for that matter.
Anyone at this point. And so it takes a while for them to get into this, but they quickly learn, like, okay, well, this guy, he ain't scared of us, so his his methods must really work, and they do. Now, what you have here is not so much about the Duke of York or the King King George V or whatever. Sirloin, Duke of Earl. I mean, it's not about his stammer as the movie would probably lead you to believe. It's actually about this speech therapist giving this guy who was very afraid to come out and take his role as ruler
the confidence to be king.
Yeah, and it's amazing how, it's going to sound nasty, but the tongue holds a lot of power. And this guy can't talk without being able to deliver a speech, even talk to his kids. He's like, there's no way. If I can't talk to my kids, I can't be king. And Jeffrey Rush is telling him, like, look, I don't care if you consider me to be treasonous here. I believe in you as a person. We have to get over this stutter or this stammer so that you can, like, come into your rightful heir of being a true leader.
Well, the position that he's put into is so awkward to begin with because the public, they don't really support him as king, and he needs to be strong like anything else. He needs to be able to come out and say, no, goddammit, fuck each one. I'll come out there and kick your ass. I see that shit down there. Yeah. He needs to be able to come out and do that shit, and he can't because he's like, I kick it.
I know. It's 2 days later, he's thinking about, I should have said this.
Yeah, it's almost like Jeffrey Rush is like messing with him right on the spot. Like, I'm going to call you what I want you. Like, you respect, what? You can't even say it. What? Tell you what, I'm going to go boil some tea. You get that thought out when I come back. But
why don't you just write it down, bitch?
Yeah. And now, look, it's predictable here that this is going to be a deep friendship between these two just because of the way they got started. I mean, all boundaries were knocked down from the very beginning. So if they stay together, there's going to be this friendship that they have. And anybody who knows this piece of history, like unlike us, knows
we do now.
We do now. And so they know that this guy pretty much does end up becoming King George V. He does lead the country into war confidently with Germany, but which they lost. But they went into it strong. And so,
well, thankfully we were around.
Yeah.
and we've been so gracious to never bring it up.
Nope. We don't need to keep reminding them that how we saved their royal bacon. But we did.
But this movie, you can say what you want to, because I'm going to say that this is the kind of film that studios love to trump out near the end of the year.
Sure.
I mean, it is a British period piece. A lot of refined British acting in this. And
it's this year's Single Man.
Well, I wouldn't even say that.